The blessed month has dawned upon us with its merits and blessings combined. In it the Quran was revealed to Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon his soul. Ramadan, 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 Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillahi wa ba'd. Welcome back to our last episode of Ramadan Spirit, coming to you live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This is your host Ahmed Salim, and I'm joined by my same guest as yesterday, Brother Talha Jarad. As we talked about yesterday, we gave people tips about what after Ramadan. And we said a lot, we gave you a lot of tips about, Quran and staying connected with the Quran, sadaqah, and how you have incremental sadaqah portions in your life that you're going to do every single day. So we talked about a lot of practical tips. Those of you that have missed it, I'd highly recommend that it should be available on YouTube. You can get back. Secondly, before we get into today's topic, you can phone us. The number will show up on the screen, inshallah. So the number is going to be there. We'll be awaiting your phone calls. So as I was talking, we talked about a lot of that, and we want to take it up from there. So we talked about extensively yesterday different things that shaitan does to us, and his ultimate purpose, that the first week when we enter Ramadan, the first week after when we exit Ramadan, his main goal for you and I, his main goal is what? To make us commit a major sin. Why is that? And we described it yesterday, so that we become despair from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We look back and we say to ourselves, man, Ramadan really didn't benefit me. I did all those worships. I worked so hard in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But look what? The first day I committed a major sin. The first day I did ghibah. The first day I did this and this and this. And the list can go on. Now, what are some of the tricks that shaitan plays on us? What are some of the steps that shaitan makes us fall into, so that we eventually fall into this major sins? We're going to talk about these steps and try to identify those, so that when we exit Ramadan and the remaining 2 days or 3 days that we have in Ramadan, we can sincerely ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Him in our du'as to protect us from these tips and tricks that shaitan uses on us to take us away from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To have a discussion on this particular topic, as I said, I'm joined by Brother Talha Jarad. Welcome back. Jazakallah khair for coming on the show. Introduce yourself for people who may not know you, or who didn't see the episode yesterday, quickly.
Jazakallah khair. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, sallallahu Rasulullah. My name is Talha Jarad. I am an engineer by profession in the IT industry, and my interest is in the da'wah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and helping people, and myself first, to be guided, inshallah, to the right path by doing the right things. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help and support.
Inshallah.
That is about that. Now, I think you mentioned a very important point about the steps or the footsteps of shaitan. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly mentioned that in Quran. I mean, very explicitly, no doubt about it. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu la tattabi'u khutuwat ash-shaytan. So, O you who believe, do not follow the footsteps of shaitan, of Satan. And yesterday we explained one of the concepts, which is a major concept in our dealings and relationship with shaitan. And that is, we have to be aware that the shaitan is continuously plotting against us. He's not going to go to sleep mode, hibernation mode. He's not going to go to, well, that's fine, let me give him some time off. He's not. Day and night, 24/7, 365 days a year, he's on and on. Not only if the person is awake, even when you're asleep.
Subhanallah.
He comes to us, and the Prophet ﷺ mentioned to us so many different things, which will come to some of them. But even when we are asleep, he comes to us, and he tries to do his tricks and plots. So he does not leave us alone. He doesn't have a time off.
Vacation.
Or vacation, or he will not let go. This is a way of understanding our relationship, that we are facing an enemy who is there 24/7 to take us to do and commit not only major sins, but also to reach to the level of disbelief in Allah. I know some people say, no, alhamdulillah, I have very strong faith and I have, alhamdulillah. But the shaitan starts with the small things, footsteps that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned. Small little things here and there, and he adds on to it and builds upon it till the person reaches to the point where it becomes easier to do another thing and another thing and another thing. So these are two concepts. One, we are facing an enemy on all the time, 24/7, 365 days, all the time, focusing on us. There's nothing to attacking us. And at the same time, he's doing his plans in a very customized way. So it's not one size fits all. Like he's not gonna come to you and me the same plot, or to two sisters at the same plot. He will find the weaknesses of you, or he knows the weaknesses of you and the weaknesses of me, and the strengths of you that you have, the strengths that I have, and then he builds from that a plan. And when you turn a weakness to a strength, he changes that, or a strength that you have turns to a weakness, he changes plans. So it's always evolving. And we need to be aware of this. Everything that you do, think of it, what is the next step that shaitan wants me to do? Why? Why am I, let's say, angry at this person? What is next? Why am I mentioning this person with bad words? What does the shaitan wants from me? Why I don't have the willpower to go and pray in masjid, or to do certain good deeds? Why? This is just one step of many, and the shaitan wants you to get used to that, so he moves to the next step and next step and next step. And in Ramadan, we mentioned yesterday that it's like a boot camp. We have the opportunity that we are exposed to so many different worships, and we can taste them all, so we can do after Ramadan the things that suit us best, suits our personalities. Now, one of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us in Ramadan to help us with this is that the shayateen, Satans, will be tied up. So their impact on us will be reduced. Not completely eliminated, but reduced. Because there are some people who shaitan can control them, remotely. Remote control, right?
He doesn't need to be there.
He doesn't have to be, next to do
May Allah
this.
subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us.
I mean, it's really very serious. Shaitan swore before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, swore by his dignity. He said, فَبِعِزَّتِكَ لَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. By your dignity, I will misguide them all. All. No, except إِلَّا عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمُ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Those of your worshippers who are chosen by you. Al-Mukhlasin. That Allah selected and chosen. And so it's not an easy thing. And if we want to get to the high level of paradise, if we want to be protected from hellfire, we have to think all the time of this deceiver that is working on us 24/7, and we need to be aware of his tricks, and we need to work our days and activities accordingly. Don't think that well, this is a minor thing, this is a small thing, well, this is just a joke, this is just this. Good. And it starts like this and it goes. So the footsteps, the steps of the shaitan that he builds on. Every time ask yourself, why did I do this? What's next? And turn it to something like a competition between you and him. Well, you want me to do this? I'm not going to do it.
So I have a question over here, which is like you said this verse that the exception to those who will be saved, so the people who will be saved from the attack of shaitan, the exceptional people, are the people who are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mukhlasin, that Allah selected them. So before we get into this attacking of shaitan and his footsteps, how does one become, so Ramadan is very important about this, how does one become from the mukhlasin? Do we choose to be that, or what's the difference between mukhlasin, and if you can elaborate a lot on that, because this is very important for us to know. Our connection with Allah is the most important key we have to against shaitan.
Sure.
So shaitan admits that.
Yeah.
Right? Shaitan says, you know what? I could do everything to anyone, but those that you choose, forget it. I surrender.
Yeah.
So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from
Inshallah.
those who are from mukhlasin. But
Ameen,
how does
ameen.
one become that?
Yes, so akhi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us how to become among those people. If we don't follow the footsteps of the shaitan, if we do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to do, and follow the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then you are among those people. You have chosen to be among those people. We have a choice. It is not by force. وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Quran that He gave us the option. Wherever we want to go. You want to be pious and righteous, or God forbid, somebody chooses to be, the
opposite.
The opposite. That is a choice. The more you do in terms of good deeds, the more you get closer to Allah, and the more that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make you among those who are the chosen ones. So let's look at the hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, that وَلَا يَزَالُ عَبْدِي يَتَقَرَّبُ إِلَيَّ بِالنَّوَافِلِ حَتَّى أُحِبَّهُ and my servant will keep
getting closer
to me and doing extra things till I love him. And when I love him, I will become his ears that he hears with, his eyes that he sees with, his hands, and so on. And then he said, وَلَا إِنسَالٍ if he asks me, I will give him. If he seeks refuge from me, I will protect him. And very interestingly, at the end of the hadith and the narration, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, said, and I've never seconded my choice except taking the soul of such servant.
SubhanAllah. That Allah doesn't think twice.
Yeah, but the thing is that, Allah, it's just a metaphor to explain that
how badly Allah wants you to come back.
This person has become so righteous, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want to take his soul out, the chosen one. وَمَا تَرَدَّدْتُ فِي شَيْءٍ أَنَا فَاعِلُهُ تَرَدُّدِي فِي قَبْضِ رُوحِ عَبْدِ الْمُؤْمِنِ.
SubhanAllah.
So it just shows you that this person becomes so close to Allah, and Allah will love him so much
that he wants his ruh
to give
and
him
his body to stay there and keep worshipping Allah
this
subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And it's very simple things. You just
Allahumma
do the basic stuff that the Prophet ﷺ told, because a man came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, I want to be from the people of Jannah. How do I do this? I don't understand all of this, what the companions are saying. And he gave him simple things. He said, you say Shahadatu an la ilaha illallah, you pray the 5 times, you fast Ramadan, and you do your zakah and hajj, and you become among those of paradise. He said, that's it? He said, that's it. He said, I swear by Allah, I will not do anything more, nothing less. When he went away, the Prophet ﷺ said, أَفْلَحَ إِن صَدَقَ. He will be successful if he's honest. So it is not that difficult. Some people think to be among the ibad al-mukhlasin is to stay up all night. And these are levels, by the way. I mean, not saying ibad Allah al-mukhlasin, they are not all one level. They are different levels. There are people who
just enter,
barely make
it's
it.
It's like entering an exclusive membership of a club, right?
Exactly.
Like, these like executive clubs. So you're part of this executive club, and you get discount, and you get to special access to these special lounges and 5-star hotels. Why? Because you're part of that club.
Exactly.
But in that club, you can have Bill Gates, and you can have somebody who just started his business.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like very beautifully said that, it's just a club, and when you become part of this membership, you can have Anbiya in that club, and you can have somebody who's just doing normal.
So
or the story that we mentioned yesterday.
Yes, it's
levels.
Person. Yeah, it's levels. It's the prophets, the martyrs, and then all the way down. But now you become part of this group, which is protected
from Allah,
from shaitan, and the shaitan it cannot. And even if he can, it will be weak. And that's the meaning, إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. Verily, the plot of the Satan is weak. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated that very clearly. Why then we are susceptible to that attacks from him? Because we are weaker than his plot. So it's a weak plot. It's like, getting a virus. When your body is fit and your immune system works fine,
you'll fight it off.
You'll fight it off and you don't know. You might get 10 viruses a day, 20, 30, 50, but your system will fight it off and you don't feel it. But when your body and your immune system is weak, even if a weak virus comes in, you will get flu and fever and all of this thing.
We talked extensively about how to get our immune system strong yesterday.
Yes.
About different steps that we discussed that, so people can connect back to that. Okay, at this point, I always think that stories convey the message very powerfully. And as I was preparing for the show, I came across a very beautiful story, which was the story of Abu Hanifa. And he's sitting there in his majlis and he's doing his dars, he's teaching the people. And one of his students comes to him. And he says to Abu Hanifa, he said, Ya Abu Hanifa, لَقَدْ ضَيَّعْتُ مَالِي, I've lost my money. لَا أَذْكُرُ أَيْنَ دَفَنْتُهُ, I don't remember where I have buried it. Now, just people might think, why would you bury your money, right? Because in those old days, that's how they used to, save money. As a matter of fact, just 2 days ago in Saudi Arabia, in the southern province of Saudi Arabia, they found gold that was buried some 2,000 years ago. They did archaeological stuff, and they found 2 huge pots of gold. And this guy was digging, and as he dug the ground, he's like, what is this? He opened it, and it was full of gold. So you talk, some 2,000 years ago, the gold was there, and they're saying it's roughly, and one of the articles, it said it is from the gold, from the treasures of Qarun.
Wow.
And it was in the newspaper. Allahu alam if it's true or not, but again, nowadays newspapers, you can have doubts about them too. But bottom line is, so he says, I buried my gold or my money, and I don't remember, because that was the way they would protect their money. So Abu Hanifa tells him, he says, you know what? Do me a favor. When you go home tonight, after Salat al-Isha, stay up all night praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He shows you where that gold is. He makes you remember where that gold is. The next morning in Fajr, the student comes back and Abu Hanifa is like, Mal khabar, what happened? And the student is like, Wallahi, Abu Hanifa, I started, praying last night. And around the second rak'ah, I started thinking about where the gold was. And I started having all these options in my brain until somebody came and he's praying and in his imagination someone came. He said, by the way, you buried it from this many feet away from this tree to that, just go and get it. And he left his qiyam and he went and he got the gold. And he said, Jazakallah khair, thank you so much for giving me this advice. Because of this qiyam I was able to find. And Abu Hanifa replied back, he said, Wallahi laqad araftu aduwuka la yakhluka an tukmila salatuk. I knew for a fact that your enemy shaitan would not let you complete your tahajjud, illa that he will come and he will tell you where the gold is. And this is the plot, the plots, this person thought it was because of his qiyam. But the plots of shaitan are so subtle sometimes that even students of Abu Hanifa, who definitely had higher state of iman than us, even them shaitan can deceive. And his biggest weapon that he has, somebody said to me, he's like, he has a database. So he doesn't need to work a lot. So when he meets somebody like me, he all of a sudden can classify he's from category 6. He has already dealt with category 6 gazillion times. He has, as a matter of fact, there might be category 6 type of people like me and my inclinations and habits and stuff like that. They might be on this face of the earth today. So he doesn't, so they're like, he categorizes me, this category, let's go and let's print out a game plan of how we need to attack him. And he just gives it off to them. So anyhow, I think that these plots of shaitan, these things are extremely important. Now, talk about the first foremost trick that shaitan does, which is making a ma'siyah look small.
Sure. So, of course, this is one of the ways that the shaitan comes to the person, is that it minimizes what we do in terms of sins and the bad deeds, and magnifies the good deeds in front of our eyes. So there is a verse, Aisha radiallahu anha, she was reading, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوْا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَى رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. those who give what they give, and their hearts are full of
Trembling.
trembling, that they are going back to their Lord. So she asked the Prophet ﷺ, she said, is it the one who steals, commits adultery and this? He said, no, it's the one who fasts, who prays, who stand up all night, yet he's worried that Allah will not accept from him.
Allahu Akbar. May Allah accept our fasts and qiyam in this month.
Ameen. So the shaitan comes to those people and to everyone. As you said, beautifully, he said about the levels and categories. The shaitan comes to every person from the angle that he thinks is the best way to attack the person. So for some people, yeah, akhi, this is just a look, ya akhi. We're not doing anything more than we're looking only, ya akhi. Another person is just we're just talking, we're just hugging,
hanging out.
I mean,
we're hanging out in a bar,
simplifying things. Well, I'm not doing that major sin. I'm just doing this semi-major sin, and you get in these philosophical explanation. This is all from shaitan to make it look small, so you get used to it and becomes habit. As we said yesterday, and as we are creatures of habit, it becomes part of our life, and he builds upon it and makes us commit more and more.
So to summarize, basically what he wants you to do is he wants you to get into a habit of looking down at sins.
Yes.
And once he's established that habit at you, so he first makes you look down at category 1 level sins, then category 2, then category 3, then category 4, and he builds up on those habits, because you cannot jump to committing shirk or zina unless you followed the footsteps.
Exactly.
For you to be able to. And he never comes to us like that, right? If you look at shaitan, he never comes to the person and says, oh, you know what, commit zina. No, subhanAllah, I know people in Canada, subhanAllah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. These people, subhanAllah, the guidance is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when we think that we are guided and this guidance belongs to us, that's the first door that shaitan can enter and start planting these habits for us. So beautifully said, inshallah. We're going to take a quick break. Come back, inshallah. Viewers, don't go anywhere. We'll come back quickly and we'll be discussing further about different footsteps that shaitan uses, different tricks, so that we are well aware of this particular topic. So when the shayateens get opened at the end of Ramadan, we know how to defend ourselves. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ramadan, Ramadan, Ramadan. To build their lives again, for them happiness let us all bring. Ramadan, Ramadan, from reading
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us in the Quran saying, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Hasten to the forgiveness of your Lord and to paradise, the width of which is the heavens and the earth, prepared for the righteous and pious. Brothers and sisters in Islam, especially in the month of Ramadan, the Prophet ﷺ tells us that when the first night of the month of Ramadan is here, the devils are chained, and a caller will call upon you, O seekers of goodness, come forth. Ya baghi al-khayr, aqbil. Hasten to goodness is our show in Ramadan. Join me, Kareem Abu Zaid, every night in the month of Ramadan and learn how can we hasten to goodness.
And a sadaqah to the ones who are in great need, helping them to build their lives again, for them happiness let us all bring. Ramadan, Ramadan.
TV commercials motivate viewers into immediate action and to sway consumer loyalty from one brand or service to the other. That's why we're here for you, to help you sell your products and services by using creative ideas that bring life into your own TV commercial. Advertise your business and branded products and services on Huda TV. We will offer you fast-paced and energetic 30-second affordable TV spots. Advertise on Huda TV. Acquire fresh customers and stay within your budget. For more info or to receive a quote, please send your inquiries to advert@Huda TV. Huda TV.
Ramadan, 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 Ramadan.
Alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Ramadan Spirit. We're coming to you live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We were talking about this, that shaitan's one of the tricks, so we want to end it off, is that he makes us look down upon sin. Whether it is small, little, minor sin, he makes us look down upon that. And you wanted to complete, so we had to take a break. So
Sure.
Complete that.
Sure, Bismillah. So I wanted to mention the narration of the Prophet ﷺ who said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحَقِّرَاتُ الذُّنُوبِ. Be aware of the little sins as they pile up to the person till they make him a loser. يجتمعن على المرء حتى يهلكنه. He becomes a loser. So this is the concept of small tiny things, is that you ignore them, you don't repent from them, well, this is okay, this is simple, this is not this major, and then they pile up, and as per the other hadith that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, how the sins come to the heart. He said one by one, till they turn this heart to like a cup upside down. كالكوز مجخيا, as a cup upside down. Why did he mention that? Because if you put a cup upside down and you pour the whole water of the world, nothing will get inside. خلاص. Nothing will get inside because it's upside down. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ, كالكوز مجخيا, he said. The cup upside down. But it started from small little sins that the shaitan brings to us and convinces us to do and makes us, habitual to these things, slowly but surely, and then it becomes part of our life, and we ignore them. We never make istighfar, and then he will take us to the next level and next level and next level. So that's an important concept in our battle against the shaitan, the daily battle and the continuous battle against shaitan.
And the same theory applies to good deeds too.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like exactly the same, right? So if you apply this small little, incremental good deeds one after the other, they help you attack and ward off shaitan and his waswas. But more importantly, as you said, as you fall deeper and deeper, if you do good deeds in the similar manner, you climb higher and higher until it becomes very difficult for shaitan.
Absolutely. But not only that, the small little good deeds, the continuous doing of good deeds will wipe out the bad deeds.
صح.
إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. Verily, the good deeds wipe out the bad deeds. So this is one way to battle the shaitan, is that whenever you do a bad deed or a sin, even if it's small, just do a good deed after. Whatever that good deed is. Make istighfar, make subhanallah, tasbih. وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا. Follow the bad deed with a good deed, it will wipe it out. So make it a habit that, because we're human beings, we will do sins, we will commit sins. This is not, you will never be ever at a point where you will never commit sins. Not you, not me, not anybody in this world.
In another hadith it says that, if you do not, then Allah will replace you.
Exactly.
And bring people who will commit sins and then seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Exactly.
So this act itself of seeking forgiveness is very important to us.
Exactly. Because
very important to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Right, because this shows the meaning of the name of Allah, that He is the forgiver.
And we are the abd.
And we are the slaves asking for forgiveness. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us to be, humble and, be in front of Him in broken hearts, asking Him for forgiveness. So that is about the small little things and the importance of being aware of these little sins. Now I want to mention
this humbleness that you talked about. Somebody once told me, he said, in order for you to understand the type of humbleness that Allah requires from you, or desires that Allah wishes that you become that humble, and He loves it from an individual, is imagine if somebody was about to kill you. How would you plead for your life? What words would you use? What would be your state, your facial expressions, your body language? That humility is towards an abd, towards another slave who's about to kill you. Allah requires or desires much higher level of that humbleness in front of Allah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevates these people. May Allah grant us this tawfiq to humiliate ourselves in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to humble ourselves in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next step, what are some other...
There are many. So let's say the other important thing is that, and also mentioned in Quran, that the shaitan uses against us a lot, is by giving us false promises
يعدهم ويمنيهم.
Exactly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the shaitan, how he deals with us. يعدهم ويمنيهم وما يعدهم الشيطان إلا غرورا. He promises them and arouses them to false desires, but all his promises are just ghurur, but wrong, false. And this is fake. This is what the shaitan does to us. He did it to our parents in
Adam
Jannah.
and Hawa.
He promised them to have eternity if they eat from the tree. And they followed his footsteps, and now we're on earth. We were in heaven. So now we've been brought down to earth because of that sin. And the same thing the shaitan does with us. Promises us things. No, don't worry, Allah will not punish you for that. Oh, don't worry, this is not... I promise you this will be okay. And you have this in your head, and you get convinced with it that, yeah, this is not a big deal, ya akhi, don't be that strict, ya akhi. You hear this a lot from people. Don't be that strict, ya akhi. It's just people having fun, and we're just having fun. And it's okay to have fun. We mentioned this yesterday, we are allowed to have fun, but in the boundaries of Islam. So this is another trick that he says, and the umniyat, the wishes, وَلَأُضِلَّنَّهُمْ وَلَأُمَنِّيَنَّهُمْ, wishes upon wishes upon wishes. Oh, you will be, you will get, you will do, you will have, materialistically in this life, or even giving them the false wishes about, your status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh, don't
Prophet ﷺ, he described this wishes thing, and the nature of human being as umniya, this desires that we have. You remember that hadith that says, if marra khatta khattan, said Prophet ﷺ, he draw a box.
Yes.
And in that box, so he drew a box, so a square box, and in that box he drew a line. Starts from the middle, and it goes out from one of the boundaries of the line. So it's like a box, and the line goes outwards. And then he said in the bottom, within the box, he drew some other lines. So the Sahaba is like, what is this? He said, this line is the desire, the umniya, these wishes that human being has. The end of the box is ajaluhu, his life. So it gives us the imagery that by nature, human beings, and through the whispers of shaitan, our wishes are going to be beyond what we're going to be able to achieve in our lives. It's going to be like that, and that's the nature that the Prophet ﷺ described. And he said that, and then these khutuwat, that other things, that other lines he drew, he said these are musibah. It could be a musibah, infliction that, shaitan made you slip and you fell and you committed major sins. These are musibah that will fall onto this person. In akhta'ahu hadha, and if he misses one, yusibuhu hadha. So if he saves himself from one, he'll get hit with another one. Which tells us that attacks of shaitan, the masa'ib, the problems are going to come to us from all angles, as you said. And these wishes, and shaitan on the Day of Judgment is going to say what to us? He's going to say, مَا أَنَا بِمُصْرِخِكُمْ, I'm not going to hear your calls. All I did, I just called you.
And you came.
فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي.
You came.
I called you, and you listened to me. So subhanAllah, this is very well said, that these desires is where most of us are lost in this world. From one thing to another, from phone to a car, to this, to a higher house, to a bigger house, and never ends. And these are all steps of shaitan to take us away from which goal, which purpose?
Well, the purpose of us is to worship Allah and to get to the highest level of paradise. I mean, this is the ultimate goal for us. Whatever we do in this life is a preparation for the hereafter. So it's a choice. What level you want in paradise? First of all, you want to be saved from hellfire. What level you want to be in paradise? What companionship you want to have in paradise? Who you want to be your neighbor? You want the Prophet ﷺ to be your neighbor? Or you want the Sahaba? Or you want who?
Snoop Dogg.
I mean, there are options in paradise. But the thing is that I wanted to clarify something so people don't get the wrong message. There is nothing wrong with achieving more in life. Now, we're not talking about achievement. Now, there is nothing wrong that you become wealthy, you have a bigger house, better car, all of these things. There is nothing wrong with that, as far as these are means and tools that are in your hands, not in your heart. So this is why you probably hear the Imma in Taraweeh, they all make the dua, وَلَا تَجْعَلِ الدُّنْيَا أَكْبَرَ هَمِّنَا
وَلَا مَبْلَغَ
عِلْمِنَا. Oh Allah, do not make this life,
my number one desire.
my number one desire. It's okay to have desires, and it's okay to have aspirations and willingness.
A big house.
Fine, but it is not the ultimate goal, and this becomes sometimes so influential to the people's life that
the purpose of their living is this.
Why is my sister having that house and I don't have this house? Why my sister has this car and you don't bring me this car? And vice versa, and all of these. No, these are materialistic things. If they come, it's by the mere blessing of Allah. Allahumma lakal hamd. If they don't come, then you aspire to the better things in paradise.
SubhanAllah, these things were created and brought into existence to enable us to better worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were supposed to help us get closer to Allah, and today it's the quite opposite, where these things have become the source, the primary source of us turning away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So may Allah protect us in our
and by the way, I want to also
generations.
bring a flip side on the
flip side to the coin.
To the coin of the wishes thing. Now, what the Quran here mentioned about the plots of the shaitan and the steps that he follows with us, it's about things that are related to materialistic things, to these worldly things. If we can have the wishes and desires that are with the teachings of Islam, that gets us closer to Allah, then we will get rewarded for this intention, even if we don't achieve it. And we highlight this yesterday.
In last episode.
But the thing is, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Niyyatul mu'min khayru min amali." The intention of the believer is better than his actions. So sometimes, and I'll mention a story because it's a very moving story.
Please.
I always feel very moved when I remember this story.
Please.
Now there was an American person who embraced Islam. That was in one of the mosques. So they made a party for him and welcoming him to Islam and things like that. So they were telling him the basic questions: how did you become a Muslim? What do you want to do? What next? And the masjid was full of people, and they asked him the question, what is your purpose in life now? And most people say, well, I want to go back, make my family, whatever. And this guy said, my purpose in life is to go back to the United States of America and make every American a Muslim.
Allahu Akbar.
And people laughed and said, come on, this is be realistic. This is 300 million people and you're just one person. So he said, I will repeat. My purpose in life is to go back to the United States and make every American a Muslim. And if Allah decided to take my soul before that, I will plead to Him that you took my soul before I finished my mission.
Allahu Akbar.
You see this intention? This guy will come to the Day of Judgment with the 300 million Muslims in his records, even if they don't turn to be Muslims, because he had the true and sincere intention and he wanted to do it and he started the work on it. And his excuse before Allah will be, oh Allah, if you gave me more time, I would have done it. I would at least worked on it, but you took my life before. So you see, this is a kind of an intention that goes way beyond your life. You get rewarded for it, and now you turn the negative thoughts to positive thoughts. And if we can do these things for others, like for example, a lot of people don't memorize Quran and they don't even have the intention to memorize Quran. Yet have the intention that, oh Allah, help me memorize Quran. And I want to memorize Quran. And start even with one verse a day. But just to start and have the intention. First of all, Allah will help you. Because Allah said, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. We made Quran easy for those who wanted to remember. But secondly, if your life finishes before you finish memorizing Quran, Allah will reward you as if you memorized the whole Quran. So why not? So these are one of the things that to turn these bad things that the shaitan tries to do to us to good things and make him upset. Because he's, the Prophet ﷺ told us that he laughed at us after we do a sin. And he goes and he
brags about it.
He brags about it and he cracks, jokes about it. Oh, look how the Prophet
see what I made him do?
Yeah.
This guy used to fast 30 days and all the qiyam. One day I took him.
Exactly. So now get back to him. Do something. You know what? I got you in this one, and in this one, and this one, and in this one. And he becomes weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. And the more we do good things, the more he becomes weaker.
The relationship, this feeling of shaitan as our enemy. I always tell people whenever they said to me, I tell them, how would you look at an individual? I ask you this, how would you look? What would the feeling be in your heart if you were to look at an individual, and this particular individual, he took off the clothes of your mother and father? You would be like devastated, right?
Exactly.
You would look at this person, you're like, you know what, I'll eat you for dinner. And no matter which part of the world it is, if that happens in a very humiliating way, and somebody takes off the clothes of your parents and brings them naked out in public, you would boil from inside.
True.
That's exactly what shaitan did to our parents.
True.
Right? And that is the feeling that we need to have when we talk about shaitan, when we talk about this, that فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا إِنَّهُ عَدُوٌّ. He's your enemy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. Take him as your enemy, i.e. never let your guard down. We're going to take a short break and come back. You'll find the number on the screen, inshallah. Please call us if you have any questions, and we'll be more than glad to answer your questions. Bi-idhnillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ramadan.
Your questions and comments mean a lot to Huda TV crew, so please don't hesitate to contact us on social media. On Facebook, www.facebook.com/huda.tv. On YouTube, www.youtube.com/hudatv. On Twitter, @Huda TV channel. And on our official website, www.huda.tv. You can watch Huda TV on the Nilesat on the following parameters. Frequency 11747. Huda TV is also now available for broadcast on the Galaxy 19 satellite in the United States of America on the following parameters. Satellite Galaxy 19, frequency 12184.
يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا حي يا قيوم لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر رمضان 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 رمضان.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Ramadan Spirit. We're coming to you live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This would be our last episode from Riyadh until next year in Ramadan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He accepts all of our good deeds and everything that we have done on this blessed show and in this blessed month. Now, we have time to take one more footsteps of shaitan.
Yes, and I think that it's a very important one because many people suffer from it, and it's a main plot for shaitan. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned in a narration that shaitan every day will bring the troops, his troops. Of course, he has troops everywhere.
So
his army, yeah, and he will put his chair on water, Allah knows where, and then he will call upon people and tell them, okay, what did you do? So one shaitan will say, well, I did this, I made this person steal, I made this person do this, I made this person do ghiba, and this. And he said, no, okay, it's like for him, it's normal. Okay, yeah, you didn't do much.
Carry on.
Carry on, yeah. You know, remember we were talking about, there are certain things that became so easy for shaitan that he doesn't have to worry about it. It's like we use the term franchise. Like he franchised to human beings, like, you know, khalas, do it. I don't have to even bother about this.
Just make sure you send me the annual report at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I think he would be surprised. No, I didn't ask you for all of this. I mean, Wallahi, because human beings, like, they cross things crazily. But so, the hadith goes on and says, till one of the Satans comes in and says, I have been trying with this person till I made him separated from his wife.
Allah.
So the big shaitan would say, yes, you, come close. The idea here is that broken family is a major, important thing for shaitan. Broken Muslim families. Because once the family is broken, lots of things will happen. The kids will have issues and challenges. The husband will have challenges. The wife will have challenges. And the family, both families will have challenges and stress and maybe fights and a lot of things. So we have to be very careful about this plot, that every time there is a stress, there is some kind of tension between the husband and wife, rest assured that this is a plot from shaitan. And if you think about it this way, you start thinking, it's not him, it's not her.
It's third party.
It is the third party, and we have to look at what the third party is trying to deceive us both to believe in. And wallah, I've seen some issues like cases where people, they were saying the same thing, but they are not hearing each other.
Allahu Akbar.
The husband is saying something that he wanted, and he
the wife is like, I
wanted, and like, guys, you're saying the same things, exactly same words even, but khalas, the shaitan blocked them and broken the channel of communication that it became so tense. Khalas, they couldn't hear each other, they couldn't talk to each other, and everything the other person says is wrong, no matter what he says. Even if he repeats your words, it's wrong. Brothers and sisters, I really ask you to please, whenever there is a tension in the family, please, first thing and most important thing, and take it from me, this is an advice, go and pray for your husband or wife. So if you're a husband, pray for your wife. If you're a wife, pray for your husband. Yes, it's difficult. I know at that moment you want to kill him or kill her. But go and make prayer by name, that Allah guide him, help him, bless him, give him. You see, and you'll see this anger getting out of you, and the shaitan will be desperate to just keep something. And just keep praying, and wallahi, you will see as if something is being taken out of your heart.
Allahu Akbar.
Do it. And every time, again, the second thing, be aware that this is a plot from shaitan. And third thing, that this is a step towards breaking the family. He wants to break this family. He's not after just this, tensional thing that's happening. He's after a big thing, which is breaking this family. It starts from this, why did you put this here? Why this is not clean? Why the food is not cooked today well? And it starts off. By the way, dealing husband and wife is a big topic, and we're not getting to it because sometimes there is a blame on the husband, there is a blame on the wife, there is a blame on both parties, but I'm just exposing an issue here that a lot of things are because the shaitan wants to break this family, because this is his ultimate goal. As the Prophet ﷺ said, when one of his troops does this, he gives him the thumbs up.
As a matter of fact, he says, you're my brother.
Yeah,
right? You're the one.
You're the one.
I've been waiting for all this time. Jazakallah khair for this beautiful explanation. Again, the topic of steps of shaitan and khutuwat al-shaitan, it's vastly covered on YouTube. I highly recommend viewers that you go back before Ramadan ends, connect, go on YouTube, go on Google, look up lectures that are available in English, Urdu, in all different languages, Arabic. And this is a topic that we cannot just say it's okay, I'll do it after Ramadan. No, this is in the month of Ramadan, so that the remaining few nights we can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from His plots and protect us from His onslaught, which is going to happen. Because how do we know when it happens? We know because when the night before Fajr, the night before Isha is packed, and the day of Eid, even the Imam sometimes is not there. I remember in Canada, like in one of the masjids, again, we're not saying the Imam is not praying, I'm just saying that the masjid, and the Imam, one of the Imams of the masjid said, khalas, you lead the salah. So I went there, and it was me and 2 other people. And the same Salat al-Asr the day before I led, and the masjid was packed. So we know that the shaitan has attacked. For sure, like we know this for guaranteed, because look at the state of the masjids. With this, I want to close off with something very important, which is in pertaining to the dealing with Ramadan. إن كيد الشيطان كان كيد الشيطان كان ضعيفا. That indeed the plot of shaitan is, verily it was a weak plot. For whom is it a weak plot? That's a very important point, and we'll close off our show with this one, which is that, brothers and sisters, whatever happens in life, sometimes we go out of our houses, and the evil people, the shaitan, they are sometimes so close that you're about like a millisecond or sometimes a second away, and you're about to fall into haram. And what protects you is the rahmah of Allah, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It intervenes, intercedes, it just blocks the plots of these individuals. Why did this rahmah, this mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came to protect you? It was for something that you did before you left your house, before you left the masjid, before you left your work, before you came back into house, which is that the person left from his house without having an intention of committing sin. He left his home without having this solid intention, oh Allah, I'm going to commit sin in your accord. No, he went out and he had no desire that he's going to commit a sin in the accord of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had a clear account with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he left. He had a clear account when he went to bed. He didn't sleep over the ideas of how he's going to commit a particular sin the next morning. And this particular thing sometimes becomes a source of protecting you, and you don't even know that. You don't even know that. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the tawfiq in the blessed month of Ramadan, and He accepts all of your good deeds, all of the efforts that we have put together, and He puts these efforts that we have done in Ramadan Spirit, all the other brothers from Dubai, from UK, He puts us in our mizan hasanat, and He accepts us from us, and He does not make it a hujjah against us on the Day of Judgment. With this we come to an end. Thank you so much for being my guest. Again, it was an honor for being with somebody that I grew up listening to your khutbahs as a child in Canada. And dear viewers, until next Ramadan, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And blessings combined. In it the Quran was revealed to Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon his soul. Ramadan, 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 Ramadan. Without Iman being uplifted from reading the Holy Quran.